Hey everybody, I'm Kristine Mirelle. I'm here with my friends, Marley and Steve. As we speak, you guys have just made your wedding funnel live. You're selling tickets to your wedding.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've gotten like mixed reactions.
We have people who are all for it or completely like against it.
Finances are the #1 cause of conflict in a marriage. Well, you start your wedding in debt. $650 for a cake cutting fee.
Are they like a special skilled cake cutter?
They weren't cutting it with a lightsaber. Crazy. As soon as you say the word wedding, it's like 10 times the price. And I was like, people should just sell tickets to their wedding.
Weddings are expensive. You can break it down to cost per head.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, it's $200 per person or whatever. So then you're like thinking about your friends and family or whatever. You're like, I love Bobby, but do I love Bobby $200 a month?
Yeah.
I was thinking how funny it would be and how amusing it would be to me to pay for something like this. Like one of the offers be like a little figurine of me on your cake. You know, like just like I would, it would be enough. Like I don't need anything else. I just want to see like
It's like the bride and the groom, and then Kristine with her pink hair.
Yeah, like on the side.
What we're doing right now is totally a case study, and I will tell you there have absolutely been ups and downs.
Was there a moment where you like almost backed out? As we speak, you guys have just made your wedding funnel live. You're selling tickets to your wedding.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've gotten like mixed reactions. And I wanted to talk so much about this before we started the podcast, but I'm like, let me wait. First of all, what made you guys want to do this? Like what spawned it?
It started as a joke.
Yeah. Well, honestly, we joked about it for years, you know, because we've been together about 5 years now. By the time we'll be married, it'll be about 5 years. And like, how funny if we actually made like a wedding funnel. Ha ha ha.
It would be so like us, huh?
That'd be so funny.
We'd have upsells and
then we
sell from stage. And
Do a pitch.
Well, and then when we got engaged, like any couple does, start looking at venues, which by the way, I have to tell you how terrible this lady was at sales. First of all, we go to this venue that like we drive all the time. It's so beautiful. It's like a dream kind of place to get married. And we go there and she's like, well, what date do you want for your wedding? And I was like, what do you have available? And she's like, what do you want? Like she was frustrated with me. And I'm like, I don't know what you have available.
Guide me.
June? We don't have anything in June. Oh, okay. Well, August. Okay, we have one date in August. Okay, well, maybe you tell me what you have available. And then she did the same thing with the dinner. She's like, what do you want for your menu? And I was like, what do you have available?
Wow.
What do you want? Salmon? We don't serve salmon. Oh my gosh. So I already was like, we're not getting married here. If I have to deal with this for the whole planning process, I'm out. But then we got the quote with the breakdown, and on the quote, there was this one line item, $650 for a cake cutting fee, just to cut the cake. Not including the cake. They weren't cutting it with a lightsaber.
And I was like, I'll cut it on my own. She's like, we don't let you
That's
do
what I was
that.
about to ask. Can you just
Yeah.
cut the cake?
Yeah, they're like, we want you to do it on your own. I was like, man, I'll take a plastic knife and just like saw that thing in half. I'm not giving you $600 for this. That's ridiculous.
Are they like a special skilled cake cutter? Like what is it?
I don't know.
Just there's
It's
Better
like
be
that place you
bedazzled.
get at like hibachi or something with the cake. Open up.
Yeah, exactly.
No, so then after that, I made a post on Facebook telling the story and joking and like, oh my gosh, can you believe it? People in the comments are like, yes, it's crazy. As soon as you say the word wedding, it's like 10 times the price. And I was like, people should just sell tickets to their wedding. I've like always thought that.
Yeah.
And then people were like, you should do that. We'd buy a ticket to your wedding. And then other people were like, yeah, this industry needs to be disrupted. And I was like, this seems like a case for Marley and Steve. And so I started just testing, being like, if we did, what would you want? If we did, like, what would that look like? And the more I started researching, it's like the wedding industry is a $70 billion industry. And, you know, you're preying on emotions from this day. And what I've also learned recently that we can talk about more is like, there's the financial debt that people go into. Finances are the #1 cause of conflict in a marriage. Well, you start your wedding in debt. But then also there's the financial debt, there's also the emotional debt. There's like all the emotions that rise around like, it has to be perfect and we have to do this thing. And like, they forget what the wedding is actually about. And so we have weddingfunnels.com, paidforweddings.com too. And what we're doing right now is totally a case study. And I will tell you, there have absolutely been ups and downs.
Well, and that's what I'm wondering. So, because I'm just imagining like if I had to, because weddings are expensive. You can break it down to cost per head, right? Like, hey, it's $200 per person or whatever. So then you're like, like when you're thinking about your friends and family or whatever, you're like, I love Bobby, but do I love Bobby $200 a night,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
or a day?
And to get on a plane and get a babysitter.
Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. And but like even like on both sides, right? When you're deciding, do I want to invite, you know, this handful of friends? Are we that close? Is it, you know, is it worth it? So I'm imagining me sending out funnel invitations to my friend. Like, what's been the worst reaction that you've gotten so far?
We have people who are all for it or completely like against it. Like I don't feel like there's not much of a middle ground.
Okay.
It's been like, that's amazing, or I can't believe you would do this. And like there hasn't been
And now,
too
most
much.
of the people that are like, I can't believe you would do this, is it more on, because like we have all kinds of friends that are marketers. So all our marketer friends, I would imagine, would be like, yes, this is so cool. Like for me, I was like, can I get an affiliate link? You know, I was all excited. Is it kind of like the category? Like, is there like, because I imagine it's got to be hard too, because you probably close friends and family that you want either, but like you send them that. Like what's been, what did they say?
I also have had people that were like, at first I thought this was really dumb and not honoring the sacredness of marriage. But then the more that you talked about it and the more that I understood the story behind it, okay, I'm all in, send me the link. And then that's also been what I have had to take a mental note, and I actually have like a whole notes of like here's how I would teach this to future, I want to call them break-even brides. Like, here's how I want to teach them this is, if you're going to do this, like you have to understand that there's the story behind it, there's the why, and there's also a cause. That if, let's say, you know, this couple creates their wedding funnel and they invite people, why are they doing it this way? And what's in it for the guest, that it's like, hey, come celebrate this with us, not for like, because the worst thing that I don't want people to think is like, oh, this is just a money grab. Well, money grab is if there's no like value or experience in exchange. And not that it's an exchange, but like, what are they receiving too? Like to be in the emotion of how special this day is and we want to be a part of it. And, you know, maybe if the couples are like, hey, we want to just be with our village. Like weddings used to take a village. How do we bring the village back together? And, you know, if we're lucky, maybe we have some money left over to put towards a honeymoon or down payment on a house. But more importantly, like, come be in this energy, celebrate this day with us. And we want, instead of buying us a toaster, just like pay for your seat at the table.
Right.
Don't need another toaster.
Yeah.
Don't need another toaster.
Yeah.
Has anyone gotten like really, really upset? Like, how do you handle that too?
Well, honestly, I think one of the benefits that we are business owners, so that's not new. If someone gets frustrated, why would we want them at the wedding anyway?
Yeah.
So we're just like, don't buy a ticket.
Yeah.
Then don't come.
Just like any other marketing offer, it's like it's not for everyone.
Yeah, and that's what I was curious about, because I was just imagining, you know, with my family and friends, because I'm sure you've gone back and forth. Like, has there been like a moment where you're like, should we actually go through this? Because I saw your posts, you know, like I saw you talking about it. I saw the excitement, and I saw somebody be like, yes, do it.
Yeah.
Was there a moment where you like almost backed out and just said, screw it, let's pay for it?
Totally. Yeah.
And why? What were the?
I got cold feet on the wedding funnel. And I feel like I was so like gung-ho, okay, this is amazing, and we're gonna launch this, and like we're making the funnel, and we have like sponsors and brands that want to integrate too, which is so cool to also,
like big ones.
Again,
it's been really interesting, really, really big companies.
And when we talk about like, it takes a village, how cool that our village is also like our friends who are also business owners.
Right.
Yeah.
That's so us. But also the fine line that I feel like we're walking out, and that if we're also going to teach other couples how to do this, from day one, Stephen was like, I don't want this to be a business transaction. I don't want my guests to be customers that we're worried about fulfillment on the day that the wedding is supposed to be about the marriage.
Just us and selfishly about us. So if there's anything, if it feels like an offer, it's not an offer. If it feels like there's it's like as soon as we started crossing into that realm, I was like, this feels weird. And I was like, screw this, let's elope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But then eventually when we started figuring out a little bit more about, all right, let's just make this as, just come pay for your meal as possible instead of like, let's see what prices we can charge.
Yeah.
The best price is the highest one someone will pay. And it's like, that's not the vibe with what we're doing on that.
So when we first launched the funnel, and you know, of course we have people around us that are like, this is amazing, and like totally getting the validation of this is amazing and we want to be there. And at first we you know, telling people like, yeah, it's probably gonna be like $100 a ticket, which I think is reasonable because if you go to a wedding, typically you're spending $100 on a gift, or you know, I've spent so much more at a wedding. I think 100 is reasonable. And then we had, you know, friends, people close to us being like, oh my gosh, you should totally raise the price. We're like, oh, okay. So then what we did launch it with was $197 for the main ticket. And then we also created a VIP offer where the VIP also included rehearsal dinner and some other, like, you know, priority seating, business integration because we have an audience of entrepreneurs here. So like there could be a way that we can promote your brand. And that one was $997, which also people were like expecting a $997. So we're like, great, $197 and $997. And then after launching it and sending it to people who said they were interested, I felt sick to my stomach for a few days. Like, I don't know, something's off here. And also people that even said that they were, this is the funny part, people that said like, yeah, I'm in, like send me a ticket as soon as it's up, didn't respond.
Crickets.
And so I'm like, oh no.
Yeah.
But then what's funny is we talked about it, we changed the price, and then those people responded after we changed the price being like, where was the $997? I was about to buy it, put it back. And I was like, whoa, you didn't respond and now we changed it. And
I'm actually glad we did though.
It's so much better
you
now.
changed it? Okay.
Yeah, because it took us out of
performative.
It took us out of a business context and back to like a look, this is just us. If you want to show up, cool. If you don't, cool. Like this is, and instead of creating like these offers, you know, it was more like just come pay for your meal. We're going to create a cool experience for everybody, but we are the experience at the same time. So if you have to come because we're going to go put on a show for you, like that's not.
We don't even
get out of
If someone paid $997, I would totally feel like, okay, now I have to make sure that they got their money's worth. And then I'm worried about that, which again, day number one, Steven's like, I don't want them to be customers. I don't want to worry about fulfillment.
Our wedding is not a business.
Was the $997, I think I had seen something where you were talking about like a 3-day experience.
So actually we are doing that.
Oh, you still are doing that.
And we're so excited about that. And again, it's so us, but what we were thinking about when we were doing this, and we got great advice from a friend of ours that recently got married, and she's like, here's how I would look at this, is to make sure that as the couple, it's a receiving love instead of producing.
Yes.
Yeah. So what the flow of the wedding is, and like this just feels like so us. And when people do look at it, I hope that they do see that this is genuinely us, and the slip into the Hollywood archetype of the bride who, like, I feel like there's so many movies about this. The bride who gets engaged and then all of a sudden it becomes about the performance, and they ruin relationships, they break up with their best friend, and then the husband, the soon to be, it's like every movie. And it's so great that I slipped into that for a second, because if I am going to be able to share this with people, like I have to share my experience with that. And Steven, of course, this whole time was like, yep, good job. You come back over here. Well, he was so patient with me when I was figuring it out.
I know whenever you and I had even jumped on, I think we were talking, going back and forth on like Boxer or something, and we were talking about like upsells. Yeah. Because, you know, in our funnels, we have, you know, our upsells are other things that we could offer. But wait, if you do it in the next, 10 minutes, you get this. And you kind of just naturally fall into that. Yeah. And so
fast action bonus, which is like, it's a wedding.
Right. And I know I could see where if someone spent a lot of money, you'd then feel responsible for their experience, making sure that they're okay, and you don't want to be responsible for their experience. I just remember thinking though how funny it would be, like, because I was imagining me paying, because I remember when you said, hey, maybe we're going to, I forgot what you put, like maybe you'll get, you know, a picture of yourself on the wall. Or I forgot what you had said, like if you know, are buy or high ticket. And I was thinking how funny it would be and how amusing it would be to me, just for my own amusement, to pay for something like this, and then like one of the offers be like a little figurine of me on your cake, you know, like just like I would, it would be enough. Like I don't need anything else. I just want to see, like,
it's like so, the bride and the groom, and then Kristine with her pink hair.
Yeah, like on the side, like I'm just also on your cake.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
Like I was hoping that you would come up, because I get nothing out of it except pure enjoyment. Yeah. Like there's no real value. You're not solving a problem. You're not, you know, but I would just be like, that's me on the cake right there. Or letting someone be in like the wedding pictures in like a really awkward
That would be
way.
Hilarious.
You know,
we
like,
need to do that regardless.
90s prom picture style. Like super awkward.
Like you know those close, like the near kiss pictures, and then Kristine's just in the background.
Or like the, you know, the ones where you're like this with the flower in between, and the feet behind you like this. Yeah. You know, like.
And then Kristine photobombing.
Yeah, I was like.
So let me tell you what the.
It's changed. I feel like we really one extreme.
Okay.
And it taught us stuff, but then we came back to not an extreme, but I feel like we've created like a cool balance of it.
Yeah.
The strategy is, all right, let's go get a bunch of cool sponsors.
Okay.
But let's not make it so that these audience people have to come and carry all this cost. You know what I mean? We're not trying to make it so that they have to pay all this money. Let's come pay the basic cost, and then we'll try to get as many people there as possible so that we can go to brand sponsors and say, well, hey, we got 1,000 people at this. And that's where like the big money comes in.
Mm-hmm. And way we can get creative.
Yep.
So for example, we got an ice cream sponsor. Cool, like here's the ice cream and they get to promote their business. And then we did a cool integration. This is like still confirming the details. But there's an influencer cow that has 3 million followers here in Boise.
Wow, gotta have the influencer cow.
Ice cream, like viral photo op with the cow that has 3 million followers while you're getting your ice cream.
Wow.
You know, we'll do creative things offer. There. Oh my God. So anyway, like brands that we integrate with that, you know, we can turn this into a fun thing that then the guests get to have such a fun experience. And then let me tell you about the rest of the experience that we're creating. So the wedding's on August 1st, but July 31st, we are doing a Rare relationship day. Rare is our branding. So my joke is like, we will have been married for exactly -1 day at this point. So we're not the experts. We're bringing in the experts. So Stacy and Paul Martino, who they just wrote their book with Hay House, and they have like a 1% divorce rate in their program. They're going to come in and do a session. We have Alex and Katie Sharfin, who they've been on a sabbatical for a year, saying no to everything. They said yes to this. They're going to do a session. We have Matt and Carolee Ballard, who have like absolutely been huge for helping us to, you know, grow in ourselves and be the couple that we are. We have Dr. Denham Slade, who is an expert on attachment theory, and he's going to come do a session. Then we're going to do a panel with our parents. So that'll be kind of fun. I'm sure they'll tell some fun stories.
Bring it on.
So that's what's happening the day before, that people can also opt in and get a ticket for that as well. Yeah. There's also the rehearsal dinner the night before. And what we did that I think was really cool is we're also integrating with Village Impact, which is one of our favorite charities. We went to Africa with them last year. And so some of the money from that is going to go towards Village Impact, and some of the money from some of the other things will go to that
basically
too.
A charity dinner.
Yeah.
Turn it into.
And we would love to give them a check, and like, I don't know what the capacity will end up being, but wouldn't it be so cool if we could give them a check that's like usually what people's wedding budget is?
Right.
That'd be so cool.
And so I think a big question, I'm sure anyone that's getting married is like, so if y'all did this and you're planning on, you know, even if you break even, like how wonderful is that? Just, hey, we got to hang out with our friends and family and got to throw this big party. So if someone was like, I want to do a wedding, I want to do the same thing, because I know you're talking about helping other people do it. The first question I have is, what do like the brands get out of this? Like an ice cream sponsor, like what is it that they get?
Well, and that's where we get to be creative with each brand or sponsor that wants to get involved, because it's not just like, hey, donate free stuff. The same way that any influencer or foundation or, you know, creator can integrate with a brand, it's like there has to be some kind of a mutual exchange. And so for us, like, we are marketers, we can provide marketing in exchange. So like the ice cream sponsor, like he's going to be at our office in the next couple of days. We're going to do some stuff with him, and he's also going to be involved in the biohacking day. So that's the day after the wedding. We're going to do a biohacking brunch, where it's like, hey, instead of, you know, usually the morning after there's like sad pancakes and maybe a little hangover. Instead it's like, hey, we're going to make an amazing meal, like some smoothies and acai bowls or something. And then we have Anthony DiClementi that's going to lead some biohacking sessions. We have like stations.
An awesome brain doctor coming in.
Like you get to have sessions for your brain and PEMF sessions, and like so cool. That we have a machine coming that's this like $20,000 biosphere machine that Tony Robbins has in every one of his homes and takes on tour with him, that like everyone gets a session with that too.
Wow.
So it's pretty cool. Like the strategy, is we're like, at first we're like, let's charge whatever people are willing to pay on the tickets. And now it's actually, let's do as least as we possibly can, just get all the people, and then we'll go do the brand sponsor deals one-on-one. And since we're marketers, it's like, well, what do you need help with? And we've been able to actually create like pitch decks so we've actually been creating quite a few pitch decks, you know, working with different people and working with different suppliers and stuff to try to make this happen.
So you guys bought weddingfunnels.com. And I heard you talking about Vouchella, and I think you said you're not allowed to say that or something.
Vouchella, they music festival with some lawyers did not like that one.
Really?
So, no,
that
can't do it.
So cool.
Yeah, I thought that one's so cool. And that's actually like, so the wedding planner, the event planner, and the wedding rental company that we're talking to, like, I gave them a whole proposal with like, hey, what if we then after this created a wedding expo that's so modern, not just like, those trade shows where you just go from booth to booth and whatever and give out samples. Let's create a viral wedding expo that's like a rite of passage, that when brides get engaged, it's like, yeah, I'm getting married and this is my year to go to Vouchella. And so that's another thing that we're working on with the event planner, to be like, hey, let me help you grow your business, and let's do events that also position your company as the planner so that other corporate companies want to work with you for theirs.
Collaboration is really at the center of all capitalism, right? So it's like it's one of them anyway. And so there's just all these businesses around that no one's ever organized a really good expo in Boise. So just being able to organize things and share services, a lot of that has been from that as well, and being able to create some cool value like that. So it's been cool to, like, all these companies in Boise that we don't know, wouldn't have known.
Yep.
They're like, wait, you're doing that? Wait, you're doing that? And I think it's one of the coolest lessons of marketing is you create a cool scenario and then just rally people around it. And people are willing to do all kinds of stuff just to be involved.
And for people, that aren't entrepreneurs or marketers, like, because I want to teach this to couples after, to be able to go like, here's our case study, here's what we learned from it. And honestly, we're learning every day. Like, I'm taking notes of like, didn't see that going that way. Let me make sure that I don't, create that for the next bride. They might not have like, okay, well, I can't go in and build a funnel for this company, but maybe, hey, is your bridesmaid a wedding planner that like you guys can trade some kind of exchange for you? Or, hey, my grandma made the cake and all she wanted was a shout out from stage. And my brother-in-law has a printing company, and I'm going to introduce him to someone else and do some referrals or something. Like, there's
like
ways
community-based.
Right. There's ways that we can get creative instead of like, well, my only option is to just keep spiraling and like, oh, well, now there's the flowers and now there's the rental and now there's this, and then all of a sudden we have a $30,000 credit card bill.
It's like back to the village.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's go back to the village for this, is really what it is. So
so now that weddingfunnels.com, what a cool domain, by the way.
And the logo is like the bouquet, and it looks like a funnel.
Oh, I love
See
that.
what we did
that's
there?
good. Okay, that's good. I like that. No, that's so. Like, are you going to now help other couples like plan their weddings? Are you teaching that? Or is it like you're doing it for them? Like, how's that?
There's still so much that will to be determined,
okay.
But it seems like this could be a funnel into like other opportunities, that maybe there's a site where it's like, hey, here's other brands that love to integrate with brides, and we just become a connector. Maybe it's we have wedding funnel certified planners who also can help you to get brand deals. Maybe we have, the Knot that I've looked into all these other sites and researching this, is like the Knot seems like it has a database of like, here's companies that you can work with, search by location. Maybe this can be something similar to that and show how other brands and brides can connect.
What kind of popped in my head would be like a high ticket performance based model would be, bring me what you're about to spend. And if they're like 200,000, whatever I save you, give me X amount percentage.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it'd be like, if I save you $100,000, would you pay me 50,000? And you still had it, and I made it better. Like, that's the deal.
Yeah.
Like, if you were so like, hey, I know we're going to do it better. If you're really confident in that.
Well, and in what we're doing right now too, like, we have like some of our team and like my brand manager who we've been working with on, like, we're filming a TV show too. And so she works on other things, but she also has connections with these other companies that, like, I would pay her a commission for any deal she would bring in. And if she also gets a commission on like, hey, Fiji Water is sponsoring the water, well, what's that retail price of the water, then there's a commission that can be paid out to the person that found that deal. So instead of paying for it, they just pay a commission. Right. There could be things like that.
Yeah,
That's
there's
cool.
so many different ways.
Yes.
Now, are you documenting this whole process? Like, is this, I feel like this is like a reality.
Well, that's kind of actually the second part of this, is that we're filming a docu-series already, and this is going to be one of the episodes. So there's going to be a camera crew there filming it, making the whole story around it, and we're already working on that.
There's definitely the storyline, and even just like day to day, I'll like pop up my camera and share like what's been going on for some of the behind the scenes. And I mean, you know, I made a documentary about cancel culture. I think it would be really cool to make a documentary on disrupting the $70 billion wedding industry. And
like, we charged for a wedding and this is what happened.
Yeah.
Like something just like.
We're already above break even right now, which is crazy.
Wow.
Like great. Our venue was one of the first things that we traded for, because this venue is so beautiful. And first of all, this gentleman that owns it, he's like, takes such pride in his, I've never seen such fluffy grass. And he's awesome. He loves what he does, but he's like, you know, older gentleman. I don't want to do marketing. I'm not on social media. And even when I was looking for venues, his Instagram hasn't been touched in 3 years. Like, I didn't even know if the venue was still open until I looked at the website and called and went for a visit. And I was like, can I help you with that? And I took over his Instagram, and he said the first day he got calls. And he's like, I'll just trade you. And then also he wasn't on the Knot, he wasn't on Yelp, he's not on these sites. So I'm like, I'm gonna set all this up for you, which is so easy for me, but for him is like not in his wheelhouse at all. And I can easily see how what I'm gonna do for him is worth way more than what I would have paid him. And I want that reputation with everything I do. I would love if when a vendor sees me coming, or like a business that I become a client for, I would love that they're like, oh yes, Marley is not only a client, but the ripple effect of what she was able to do in the business after made us so much more successful. I would love that reputation of being the favorite client for more than just being a good client.
As you've gone through this process, and it's not over yet, so like, who knows, you know.
It's only just started.
It's like you haven't had we're still what, 7 weeks away, 8 weeks away. Some people plan for like 2 years for like a wedding.
Which I'm like,
it's really fun.
We laughed about that though, because like,
we plan events all the time.
We do so many events. So I'm sure that we have a little bit, you know, little street cred there for it, but it hasn't been that nuts.
Right.
You know, as long as we're
just like, okay.
What does take extra time is the extra relationship and collaboration it takes to make things either free or cheaper. Yeah. Otherwise, paying is obviously faster.
Right. Yeah, which is true, which is what most people are doing.
Yeah.
So actually that's just making a checklist and then paying for it.
But then even that, I'm like, okay, even if we were paying for it, I'm like, okay, are we going to be there? Check. Location? Check. Food? Check. Invitations? Check.
We don't want flowers or anything. Like, we're just not obsessing over like centerpieces and that kind of.
Like, that's so funny when people ask me what colors. I'm like, I don't know.
What do your colors?
What do you like?
Because I wrote you, I was like, what? I need to pick a dress. I was like so excited. I'm like, I need to start shopping for my dress already. Like, what's your color? You're like, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's like, okay.
I'm like, I'll wear white.
Just don't wear white.
But even that on the, you know, there's the FAQ on the page. What should I wear? And I wrote something that I was like, whatever you want, I'll wear white. If you wear white, I don't care. If you wear jeans, I don't care. Right. Maybe there'll be a slip and slide. Like, come comfortable.
Is there like a site if someone wanted to like talk to you about how to do their own wedding?
Weddingfunnels.com.
So just that's where they do
it. There's just like a wait list, opt in there if someone wants to message me. Like, we have had some people being like, could you do this for us? Like, how can we do this? And I totally want other case studies to be able to keep testing it out with. Right. And I have half of a webinar written because I'm like writing it in my head as I'm going of like, oh, this is an objection that someone would have, or this is something I need to explain. And so I actually do have in a Google Doc and like several voice notes what I think I would say. And I'm like, well, then at what point do I start to teach this and then what is the program?
I love that you're just doing it and you're figuring it out as you go. And you're like, we'll turn it into a business of some sort. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
But then there's totally the things that we've been figuring out along the way. And I'm like, ooh, I wouldn't do it that way than teaching this to someone.
So weddingfunnels.com. Yeah. I'm excited to see how this goes. I'm going to be there. There's so many other surprises.
Yeah, and you can plug your affiliate link that we'll figure out.
I'm going to put my affiliate link. Because as soon as they announced it, they're like, should we do it? I'm like, yes, I need affiliate link. Yeah. I just thought that would be so fun to be like, come hang out. Because for me, I saw it as an opportunity for like my friends to come hang out and celebrate
family
you guys.
Reunion.
And I was just like, hey, let's like all go, you know, like let's all go there and have a good time. And it's kind of like almost looking at it like a potluck. Like we're all bringing something.
Yeah.
We're all, and if they're, if they're organizing it, let's just pitch in and let's.
You know what the most frustrating part is the RSVP part that is even for free weddings or non-ticketed weddings, which is now a category.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But
like
getting the RSVP, a lot of people wait until last minute. And I anticipate that for brides, grooms, selling tickets, there's like this inner, oh my gosh, are they not RSVPing because I sold a ticket?
Right.
Or would they come if it was free? And in marketing, typically we can like
scarcity
act fast.
Right.
And for a wedding, it's like, I mean, there actually is genuine like, hey, the venue can only hold this many people. And so I need to know if you're coming.
Yep.
But it's been funny though, I mean, doing so many events like we do, we have to give people natural reasons to buy now instead of 2 days before so that we can get accurate head count. So we're pulling some of those tricks out. So like every 2 weeks is like another reason to go get your ticket.
Yeah.
Otherwise, there could be like 500 people to buy a ticket in 2 days before and like stress the kitchen.
And you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
I actually did talk to our caterer today. I was like, what's your like drop dead date for needing to know the numbers?
Yeah. Because we're also, I mean, it's big enough. We've been even talking about, getting maybe a big musical act if possible, if maybe a sponsor comes in there, or like we'll have to have security, checking that kind of stuff. So we do, that is probably the biggest nerve-wracking aspect is just getting people to get a ticket so we can plan. So we just do what we normally do in other events for that.
Yeah. But also ours is like an extreme case because we're marketers and we're like pulling out some of those cool things, but also making sure that it's like, oh, not performing. Okay, we did that. Oh no, I didn't like how that felt. Okay, we're pivoting.
Just totally testing as you go.
And then being like, okay, now if I were to teach this to other brides, okay, they're probably not going to have a capacity and an audience like we have. They're going to be like, hey, this venue can fit 100 people. Here's my list of 100 people. And then they have to do the math of like, how much does that cost? And then on the funnel, how do you share the story in a way that people are like, of course I would be there. Of course, like I was going to buy you $100 toaster. Instead, I'll pay $97. And then, the next day you're going to serve us breakfast. And then that's another $97, of course. Like, and then getting creative with how they can fulfill on that while also making sure that they are in the receiving of the beauty and the sacredness of that day.
I love it. Well, I can't wait to go. And I actually, as you're saying this, I'm like, oh yeah, I don't think I've RSVP'd actually. So
you have not.
We have an affiliate link for you if you like it.
I was just so excited about selling, and I was like, I wanted the cake topper thing. I'm like, please put the cake topper on.
We should do that. We should get her a specific cake topper.
Can you guys make the offer just so I can buy the cake topper? Like, I just want to be on the cake.
$9.97 just for you.
I want the cake.
No, we are creating though, just like we do normal events, a tab that says like, do you want to sponsor? So it's a whole separate like offer that you can go for different packages and stuff. That way that was cool because it separated out all the businessy stuff. So it's a different track than like where we're going to send friends and family, and that helped a lot because otherwise it was too businessy on a wedding page. It was really weird.
It was so funny to observe myself in we're building the funnel and oh my gosh, I'm so excited to get this out. And as soon as we hit launch, I was like, oh.
Yeah, I think I would go back. I would definitely go back and forth. I'd be like, this is so cool. But I'm like, oh my gosh,
what have I done?
Yeah, because all the friends and family that aren't in business and stuff, it's
not as exciting.
It's not as exciting. You're like, okay, it's weird, but the weird kind of weird, It's like, it's not. So it's been nice to pull that in kind of that balance. Yeah. I think we found the balance.
It'd be kind of funny if you guys like wrote a song about why you're doing it, and then you send the song like you're singing it, like to your family.
Yeah,
that would be cool. To your
family, though, so they could understand
that, and to have the humor in it, but still the feel. Because the biggest thing that I realized, like, we can totally be entrepreneurs and innovators and so creative, and it's like, but this is a wedding, and so in teaching other brides how to do this and like experiencing it for ourselves firsthand, it always has to be about the wedding.
The wedding.
It's not like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna be able to make enough money to pay off my house from this wedding, which is also funny. I've had people in my comments on my YouTube channel being like, yeah, in some cultures, like people do make that, but that's not the reason. And that's not why you're getting married.
Right, exactly.
Could you imagine? Oh, payday. All right, let's find a guy. Like,
exactly.
That's another movie, I'm sure.
So I'm gonna put my affiliate link underneath.
Amazing.
Here.
Lower thirds. Here.
Come hang out. We're gonna be there. It's gonna be a party. It's gonna be so much fun. I can't wait. And I'll put the affiliate link to get the tickets. And I'm going to put weddingfunnels.com for anybody that wants to reach out. Because I'm sure, I mean, any woman's going to be like, yes, like this. And it would just make things so much fun to work with.
Yeah.
You know, another planner that's not so like, this is what you need, it's going to cost you this much. This is what you need, it's going to cost you this much. Because the more that you go down that line of all the things it's going to cost you, you're like, maybe we just elope. Like maybe we're not even do this at all.
We consider that.
They spent $2.5 million on their wedding. And I was just like, holy crap, you know? And it's like, and there was someone else, I mean, it's common to spend a couple $100,000 too. Like, this is crazy. Yeah. And, you know, this is both our second marriage. We're like, okay, if we're going to do this, let's do it our way as well.
I saw a video from a guy, his name is escaping me, but he's like a pretty big finance guy on YouTube. And he had this video recently of like, man, weddings are so overpriced and it's so crazy. And at first I thought like it was just such a scam. But now after getting married, it was like, I would do it all over again because there's only one time in your life, hopefully once. Because we're like, this is a twice in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, we say that was a rehearsal marriage.
Yeah.
This is our real one.
So practice
twice in a lifetime. That's your vow.
Anyway, he says this thing of like, this is the one or second time in your life where you have everyone in your life that like means so much to you, other than, you know, maybe your funeral, but you get to experience this and like have all this love that's really centered around you for one day. So yeah, of course, that's totally why people can spend so much money and kind of go off the rails with this. But imagine if you can have that without going into debt and making sure that the whole planning process towards the wedding is actually preparing your marriage. Because I think a lot can come out in the planning of the wedding. Like people can break up on the way down the aisle because it's like, whoa, if that's how you handled planning a party, what's it going to be like when we get into other situations?
Things that don't involve planning a party, like actual real problems and stuff that we got to work out. Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you guys. I'm so excited for August, and maybe we'll be talking about this in a few months and you'll be like, that was a bad idea. Or you're going to be like, it was great and we loved it and we had such a great time. I'm sure it's going to be awesome.
However many people are there, it's like, all right, are we there? Great.
Everyone else is a bonus.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to my cake topper. Weddingfunnels.com, everybody. Thank you guys. I'll see you in August.
So fun.